arch, the aortic arch, correct? And so now here, coming up from the, remember you're looking now that it's going to come up. This is now my right hand, this is the left. So coming off would be what? The brachiocephalic artery. And over here would be what? The common carotid artery. And this would be the subclavian artery, right? And here's the subclavian artery going around the curve. When you come like this and come up, coming from the armpit, come right there, would be what? Axillary artery. You go from the armpit and come up. See, all of this is the subclavian still. When you come like this, you're now at the axillary. And the axillary becomes what? The upper arm, the brachial. Let's go on the other side now. We know that this is the common carotid matching, right and left. And then you have the subclavian. Subclavian goes down. When you're in line with the armpit, touch the red, it becomes the axillary. Axillary becomes the brachial. Let's go down now. We understand up here? Let's go down now. So the descending goes behind the heart, pierces the diaphragm, and comes down now. It's called the descending aorta. After it pierces the diaphragm, here's the first, called what? The celiac trunk. The celiac trunk. After it pierces the diaphragm. Now, this is the spleen. This red artery is going to the spleen. So what would you call that one now? If I tag this. Go to the spleen. What is it called? Splenic artery. This represents the liver. So this is going towards the liver. So what would you call it? Hepatic artery. The stomach is not there. Not going to confuse you. The color coded is very nice. But if it's three branches, this one goes over the liver to get to the stomach. So it would be the gastric artery. But since you don't see the stomach, I am not going to hold you responsible for that, because I already tell you brown is for the liver. This one, we only have one spleen, and it's on the left-hand side. So going to the spleen, it got to be the splenic artery. Red is for arteries. This one goes to the liver, it becomes the hepatic artery. If you come back here, that is what? The celiac trunk. Below the celiac trunk, remember to memorize the superior mesenteric. And now these are the kidneys. So the artery going to the kidney would be what? The renal arteries. And then going down, the gonadal is not shown on here. The gonadal is supposed to be very slender. So this would be the inferior mesenteric. Gonadal is missing. Now it's in the groin. Splits into two. So these are the common iliac. I'm not going to hold you responsible for right and left, but just know that they're the common iliac. It splits, and this becomes now the internal iliac. So the outer one will become what? External iliac goes down, and in the leg it becomes the femoral artery. Are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's show you some other possible pieces that can be used. Make sure that. What would this be if I label this? Is it ascending or descending? There's no arch there. This is the descending aorta, going down. Descending aorta, there's no arch. This represents the diaphragm. So it pierces the diaphragm. So the first landmark, celiac trunk. We have to memorize it. This is a descending aorta going down. This right here represents the diaphragm. The first landmark after the diaphragm would be the celiac trunk. You're not seeing the three arches that are leaving, but you're seeing the landmark, which is the celiac trunk. And after the celiac trunk would be the superior mesenteric. These two are going to the kidneys, so this would be the renal artery. And goes down, this becomes the inferior mesenteric. And there's a tiny, but not very good, so avoid that. Things that you can point out here: descending aorta, the celiac trunk, superior mesenteric, the renal artery, the inferior, and the split becomes what? Common iliac. Common iliac artery. Very good. Going down, what is it? Descending aorta. Very good. Right here represents the diaphragm. Now you can see this very split. What is this? Celiac trunk. The celiac trunk with the 3 arteries coming from the celiac trunk. 1, 2, 3. I can't ask you whether it's which one is gastric, which one is hepatic, because you're not seeing the organ. But you should know it's a celiac trunk, right? Because it splits 3 ways. And now below that, this one would be the superior mesenteric, going towards the kidneys, the renal artery, and now this one now, very slender. Remember I told you it got to be slender. The gonadal artery. So here's the gonadal artery, and here's the second gonadal artery. Where is it going? To the gonads. And right here, common iliac. Very good. Excellent. Now, let's take it another. Going down, what is it? Descending aorta. And right here, the celiac trunk, and below it, superior mesenteric, and very slender. They're always slender. Gonadal artery. And now, this is on your checklist. This is the going towards the kidney. Would be what? This is the kidney. That's the kidney. The renal artery. This is on the checklist. This is the adrenal gland. And lying above the kidney is your adrenal gland. And if you see an artery going there, it's called the suprarenal artery. Suprarenal because it lies above the kidney. Suprarenal artery. Now, here is the gonadal. And now it splits in the groin. Becomes what? Common iliac. And splits again. This becomes what? Internal iliac. And the outer becomes the external. It hasn't shown where now in the thigh yet. So it would be common iliac, internal iliac, external iliac. Got it? Now, we're going to go to but before we go to the veins on your checklist, I want to show you something that is a must on your test. This happens to be the model of a male. Why is it a male? Because here's the prostate gland. Female has no prostate gland. So now, here's the gonadal artery, and it intertwines with the gonad. If you have an artery, you must have a vein running alongside it. So here's the gonadal artery, and it runs alongside the gonadal vein to make what? The spermatic cord, part of the spermatic cord. We know it's a male prostate gland. So they twist together. And now, this is what happens on the left-hand side of the male's body. The gonadal artery comes off of here, which is correct, and the gonadal vein, this is the inferior vena cava. We're coming to the veins now. And so from the inferior vena cava, you'll have the gonadal vein descending, and they intertwine to make the spermatic cord. But look what happens on the left, which is testable. Here on the left, the gonadal artery comes off of the descending aorta, but this gonadal vein do not come off of the inferior vena cava. Where is it coming from? Look up here. Here is the going towards the kidney. So if you have the renal artery going there, this becomes what? The renal vein. And now on the left-hand side in the male, the gonadal vein comes from the renal vein. Are we getting that idea? If you check your book, you'll see that too. So on the left-hand side of the male's body, the gonadal vein descends from the renal vein. Got to be testable. It's different from what is happening on the right-hand side. Are we happy with the veins? I've shown you all the possible pieces. Let's do the veins now very quickly.